God, who created us, has given us so much and has been so generous with us. I mean, the generosity that is there, how can we not try to be generous in return?
When I was presented with the topic, the most generous person I know, I immediately thought of my stepfather, Dan. He's just so good-hearted, and he's always giving and giving and giving and never asking for anything in return. So I decided to talk to some of his neighbors, somebody that he works with, and my mom, to see what they thought. So I hope you enjoy.
We were doing volunteer work up at St. Francis House, which is a homeless shelter. I was talking to one of the homeless people and just in conversation, and we were standing outside, and I happened to look over his shoulder, and there was Dan, and he was taking one of the homeless men who had been out working that day, standing out on the corner selling newspapers. Dan had a basin of water, and he'd actually gone down to the grocery store and gotten some foot bath, and he put it in there, and he had taken this man his shoes off and was washing his feet. To me, that was very, very touching.
We're all in a predicament where money is short, and it's amazing how bags of coin just show up on people's doorsteps when Dan and Terry Jo find out that there's a need for a particular neighbor. Dan has always thought of other people before he thinks of himself. He continues to volunteer and do work, even when his health is not necessarily in a place where he should be doing that stuff. One particular instance that has touched my heart the most is when his son passed away. We were having a memorial service out back of the house, and even though it was really difficult to keep our own emotions intact, Dan thought of us, as did Terry Jo, but they weren't concerned with their pain. They were more concerned with our pain and helping us heal, while they were the ones who were hurting the most.
Dan and Terry, when I was short on several occasions, they were able to loan me some money, and without any question or anything, they were just there for me. And just an ear, so I had someone to talk to. Both of them were an ear for me, and I really appreciate both of them. They really have been really good to me, and I'm glad they're my friends. I really am, and I'm thankful for them.
But they're still there for people. They're still there to listen to you and talk to you. There's been many times I've had to come over and they just sit and listen, which is good. You need people like that.
So he's a wonderful person to work with. Very generous at the time, like I said, but more so he's generous with the people, generous with his heart. You know. Can I help you, ma'am? And I've never heard anybody say no. Can I help you, sir? Because he really means it.
He would give what he calls angel time. And angel time is like after you do your 8 hours or however long you're working, angel time is that little extra time, whether it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, that you give to wherever you're working. And he did that very often. In fact, one time his boss said, just work the time you're supposed to or whatever. But Dan was always very generous, and he would just give. It's not just a matter of being generous with money. It's a matter of being generous with your time and your caring and trying to be there for the people in your life.
I don't know. I honestly could say that I don't think I would stay living here if Dan wasn't my neighbor.
I think he's speechless.
I am speechless. It's in Catholic theology, there's a strand of thought called kenosis theology, which is a Grecian word. And it's basically following Christ, who completely emptied himself and became one of us. The generosity is a matter of emptying yourself. If I give you something, it's Christmas. It's a way of making Christmas all year long. And Christmas is about a love that's beyond my understanding. And I want to be part of that. Love's in the simple things, and so is generosity. But generosity stems from love. Love is what I want to be remembered about.